Hello, everybody. This is Noah and John, and we are from UrbanDigs, and it is Friday. So you're going to get your weekly Manhattan market update. John, let's get right to it. I'm looking at supply going down just a tad, but over the 7,000 mark. Show me that chart.
But we are going down just a tad. No, we are still over 7,000. We're down about 3% from the week before. And that just sort of, it falls into that narrative of supply is just going sideways at this point.
Yeah, we're looking for a trend. We can't find it, but I'll tell you what has a trend, John. Pending sales. And ding, ding, ding. This is going to be shocking to everyone, but we're well over the 5,000 into the 51 handle, just vertical on pending sales. This market is on fire. Show me that chart.
Yeah, well, you stole my thunder there. I couldn't wait to say over 5,000, but we are over 5,000. Another almost 4% from last week. And that's just, par for the course since October when we first turned the corner. Just every week grinding it higher.
Yeah, and if you add it all together, supply plus pending sales equals market pulse. And when you look at the market pulse and we go to that chart and we figure out where we have come from, it is vertical and it is parabolic, and the move has been straight up. And it begs the question, how long does this go on for?
Mhm.
So if we're going to transition to the weeklies, we've been talking about whether or not there's a sell signal forming, and how to play it, because I don't know how you feel, John, but I think there is a sell signal forming. It's just we're not there yet. It hasn't turned around. It's almost like we're saying sell into strength, almost. And
Yeah.
when I look at the weeklies, it looks like we're going down a little bit. So we'll do that, but there's a little catch at the end. So I'll wait on that. But let's go to the weeklies, John. 414 things came on the market in the last week. Show me that chart.
Yeah, so 414, that's a sort of a drop, a significant drop from last week, almost like a
Yeah.
quarter lower. Last week we had well over 500, now 414. I think it's too early to say the active season is winding down, but I think this just may be a little bit of a blip. I think we're going to see that number tick back up next week.
Yeah, I have a feeling we will too. So we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, let's look at contract sign. We've been over the 400 level for so long. This is the first time I can think that we're under it. So here's still unbelievably strong. 393. For reference, Johnny, show us that chart.
Yeah, that's it. 393. So that's down slightly from the week before, down 4%. And one of the things I was going to mention earlier, no, and you sort of hit the nail on the head here, is that these trends in real estate, they don't turn on a dime. This is more like a battleship trying to change course. It's going to sort of go up. It's not going to fall off a cliff. It's going to kind of go, and it's going to make one of these motions. It's going to flatten out before it falls. So it's really too early to say, but it's something to certainly watch.
Yeah, and if you just take a bigger picture look at what's going on here, I mean, again, a 1 month picture, we're still seeing 1,600 plus listings go into contract. The only thing I could think about here is you got an April 22nd bar of 140 listings that's going to phase out of May's numbers. So this very well could be in the 1,500s, but that is still very close to record territory. We'll see how it plays out. In the meantime, John, let's go out of UrbanDigs and let's go into the chart that you dug up. I believe we're looking at Manhattan daily contracts signed over the last year or so. And I think you want to visualize how strong we are right now just to get that sense across. But why don't you explain what we're looking at here?
Yeah, this is exactly. So if you just sort of, take the average pace on a given day for contract signs, this is kind of what it looks like. And you can see mid 2021, March, April or so, you can see those lines really kind of tick up as that slope increases. That's sort of, the deals are really getting done. They're all still trending up. And that's sort of, signifying that the market is still doing its thing. But what we're going to watch those lines start going slowly horizontal and then start, trending back down. So you can kind of see it if you look down there at the very bottom ones, like 5 to 10, over 10. I mean, these are sort of niche markets to begin with. You're getting the much fewer buyers there, but you can see how those are a bit much more level trajectory. So we're going to keep an eye on those. And also sort of, the other ones. I mean, you look at, say, the 2 to 5 million, it's really kind of turned up again. It'd be interesting to watch these sectors in real time as they change.
Yeah, it's a great point. And you know what? This move, don't underestimate this move. That is a big move in luxury. Luxury is coming back right now. There's nice activity on it, but your point is noted. Is that arc, that vertical straight up arc, how sustainable is that until it turns into something like this or something more flat? And again, of course, we're talking about something that did not happen yet in the future. So Sell into strength is the point, which brings me to the pivot point of all of this. Jared Antin, director of sales over at Elegran, unmute yourself, get on here. We're bringing you on for a reason. You run an office of 130 plus agents. Okay, you see a lot. We love Jared because he's so analytical. He's just like one of us. All right, there's Noah, there's John, there's Jared. Jared, is there a sell signal forming? Are we in it? And how do buyers and sellers play this thing?
Hey, absolutely. Hey, Noah. Hey, John. Thanks for having me on. Happy to chat with us about how we can take advantage of the market right now. So on the sell side, though, it's unique because right now, as with many times, people want to sell and buy, and they want to try to time that perfectly. And it's a very, very difficult thing to do anywhere, but especially in Manhattan. So you have a great opportunity right now if you are a seller in the city and you're looking to want to sell and buy a larger apartment or downsize, to do so simultaneously. Because again, as we've been reporting here, you as a seller have an incredible amount of leverage in the market, right? We're in a seller's market. The market pulse is rising. There's a ton of demand. So if you are a seller, you have the ability to pick your terms to some extent, right? You can find a buyer that may be a bit more flexible on their closing time frame. You can also go in fairly strong on the buy because you know that you'll have a buyer on your side. You may even be able to find a buyer that would do a sale or lease back, so it allows the buyer to close on your home, secure their financing, and then ultimately lease the apartment back to you for a couple weeks or months as you need to bridge that gap. So ultimately, talking about the sell signal forming and how we have potentially nearing or at peak buyer demand. If you're a seller that's looking to sell in the next 6 months, maybe 8 months, think about pulling that forward, right? If you were on the fence about selling come this summer or early fall, look at how you might want to move that forward to now to come on the market at a good price and take advantage of the record demand that we have. This would allow you to potentially sell for a more favorable price now than later. And again, as what we just talked about, you may actually find yourself in roughly the same position from an ultimate close if you find a buyer that's a bit flexible but just wants to secure that space and the deal.
Right. No, that's unbelievable advice. I completely agree with that. I'm like, I think if you're a seller and you're thinking about selling in fall, bring it in now, because I mean, take advantage of this record activity. You may not have record activity in fall. And for those of you that use this monthly contract activity tool on UrbanDigs with the seasonal chart to make it look like this, Jared is the guy that requested this. Jared, this is his tool right here. And for those of you that don't know, there's signals all over this place. Okay, if you know how to use this tool, the buy signal was last year when this spread started to narrow right over here. These are buy signals in June, July, right? We have to be unbiased and just, the polar opposites in play right now. And a sell signal is forming. And if my ticker is correct, and I like to think it is, this is going to go up. This is going to go up and made to like somewhere like this, and this is going to probably be like this. So that's a wider spread, which kind of mimics where we were in May, but the polar opposite on the other side of the spectrum. So if we're saying sell into strength, this is what we're trying to get through to any sellers out there. If you're not selling it now, how are you going to sell it when we're not at record activity? And that changes. That's the whole point of the data today. Johnny.
Yeah, no, I think the key point is really that for sellers right now, you are at peak negotiation. So the attributes of your property, you can't really change them. You can't change your views, right? You can't. I suppose you can do a full renovation if you want to sort of up your value that way. But in terms of the buyers coming and seeing it, this is the strongest point you're going to have to negotiate. Assuming you don't have 1,000 of your apartments just like yours on the market. But
yeah.
That being said, it doesn't look like you're going to be in a stronger place in the summer, assuming supply keeps coming on and contract activity declines as it normally does in the summer. So there's a lot of unknowns here. The kids are just getting the vaccine. That could affect travel plans. That could pull a lot of people out of the country because they're finally going on vacation. So there's a lot of things up in the air. But I completely agree with the consensus that, hey, listen, right now the market is very strong. By the time you get the data points in visual form that something has changed, it's going to be too late and you're going to miss that boat. So
and this is liquidity. And this is liquid. I mean, look at that pending sales liquidity chart, John. I mean, this has got to regress to the mean at some point. So this is not price action. It's not like prices just went vertical and we just popped 30% in prices. That did not happen. Ben Dixon was on our podcast yesterday. He was telling you, if you're pricing at 2017, you're not selling. You know, we're somewhere around 2019. That's where we're at right now. So we got to be happy with where we're at. We lost the COVID discount. We've recovered it. Be thankful, kind of thing. Just don't get greedy. This is great. Jared Antin, Director of Sales at Elegron. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing some thoughts. That is John Walkup. I am Noah Rosenblatt. We're both from UrbanDigs. This has been your weekly Manhattan market update. If you got questions, we got answers. Check out our post in our forum. Other than that, have a great weekend and we'll catch you next time.